We have a special treat today. Welcome to Easter Sunday. And this is going to be the inauguration of the Ananda Singers at the Center. So we have a couple songs for you.
Namaste, Jai Gurudev. As you all know, that this is a special Sunday, Easter Sunday. So we'll start this with a song called Peace by Swami Kriyananda.
Okay, so you guys need to share. So don't forget to sing. So.
Peace gave us the mountains, peace gave us the sky. Night gleam and starlight enfolds us, peace is its lullaby. Amen. Amen. Peace gave us the morning, peace gave us the sun, bird songs that call us to welcome, day and fresh labor's begun. Amen. Amen. Peace gave us the seasons, peace gave us the rains, cool clouds that gathered to bless us, mist hands that soothe away pain. Amen. Amen. Peace gave us our heart's love, peace gave us our smiles, rays of God's presence within us, sight that all strife reconciles. Amen. Amen.
Please sing Amen with us.
Amen.
Friends, the next song is called What is Love? It is also written by Swami Kriyananda.
What is love? Is it only ours? Or does love whisper in the flowers? Surely we, children of this world, could not love by our own powers. What is joy? and they see all lies display. Not a church finds him as their own, not a creed makes him fully known. Foolish creed, if we limit him, every atom is his throne. What is love? Is it only ours? Or is love whisper in the flowers? Surely we, children of this world, could not love by our own powers. What is love? What is love? Is it love we touch in the flowers?
I'd like to share with you a song that I wrote back in the 1970s. I call it my Easter song. In the silence of your hearts, you will find His love. He is there. Do not despair. He is guiding you with His light. A world of people call to Him, and yet we think He can't hear. He wants to come and be with us, if only we will draw near. In the days of old, He came to us, but we spurned Him with a cross. He smiled and said, "Forgive them, Lord, but they know not what they do." He is the name of all that's true, His presence everywhere. His glory is the universe. He is the King with it all. In the silence of your heart, you will find His love. He is there. Do not despair. He is guiding you with His lights. He is the name of all that's true, His presence everywhere. Let us seek inside ourselves and greet him as a friend. In the silence of your hearts, you will find his love. He is there. Do not despair. He is guiding you with his light. In the silence of your heart, you will find his love. So Easter is the anniversary, the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The Easter holidays include the crucifixion, Good Friday. We were talking earlier about Good Friday. Why is it Good Friday? Seems like it should be Bad Friday. Certainly, Jesus had a rough day on the outside. But it's Good Friday because Christians believe that Jesus died for their sins. And in taking on their sins, they are given the opportunity for spiritual salvation. That if you give yourself to God, if you give yourself to Christ, then you will experience eternal life. That his sacrifice was done on our behalf. And of course in the East we understand this more in terms of the guru-disciple relationship. The idea that you can, someone is going to basically, no matter what you've done, they're going to clean the slate. And you really, that's it, you're going to heaven. It's a very simplistic view of the circumstance. The Guru can take on our karma, much of it. And the Guru certainly is a great power in our upliftment. But Jesus also said after releasing yourself from sin, you have to go out and sin no more. And you have to begin to live in a different way. You can't just say, okay, Jesus died on the cross, and as long as I agree with his sacrifice before I die, I'm good. This is not the way it works. But what an incredible thing that these avatars, they come and they live a life that is ultimately all sacrifice, even to giving the body. They don't come from themselves. Avatars are free. They have nothing on their own that brings them back. And yet, as Yoganandaji said, he was willing to come, if need be, 1 trillion times, he would come again and again, as long as one stray brother is left by the wayside. Jesus' life was a life lived only for, yes, the upliftment of his disciples, but also of the whole world. And we see when the avatars come what an incredible effect they have on not just a few people, but on mankind as a whole. And on Easter, we celebrate, on Sunday, we celebrate Jesus' body was killed, but his spirit was not. And after 3 days, he reanimated his body and conquered death and proved that death has no reality. that death is just part of the illusion that the creation holds upon us to keep us from recognizing our true divinity. And he said that his divinity, he didn't come, as Swami Kriyananda said to us so many times, to prove how great he was. This is a big mistake that people make. He came to say, look, ye shall do even greater things. From a yogi's point of view, yes, reanimating the body that's a basic power. And it's amazing from our side, but it comes with the territory. It comes from conscious union with infinite spirit. And it's important to understand that the difference between Jesus the man and Jesus the Christ was that complete communion with the infinite Christ. That infinite consciousness of spirit that is in the creation but untouched by it. It's the Kutusta Chaitanya. We experience it here at the spiritual eye. That's why we focus here. When we enter into that state of conscious union with infinite spirit, this is our destiny. And the lives of the great masters, they come to help us to fulfill that destiny. Fortunately, in every generation, there is someone for each and every one of us to help us focus on and connect to that power of spirit that always trying to draw us up back into the infinite. And this Easter on the 20th, we find ourselves coming also, tomorrow is the one-year anniversary of Swami Kriyananda's passing. And we find ourselves recognizing and connecting to God's effort to uplift us and what that might look like, what might inspire us in order to attune ourselves to that in our own lives. When we look at the life of Swami Kriyananda, we see how Christ-like it was. We see how he amplified the spirit and the principles that all of the masters are dedicated to. For 65 years, Swami Kriyananda dedicated every day of his life to communing with God and Guru, serving God and Guru. And yes, in that lifetime there was many great accomplishments and also many challenging days. Jesus only spent a relatively short time on the cross. Swamiji suffered for years. I never knew anybody who had so many health problems. He had 3 hip replacements. He had heart surgeries. He had diabetes. There was a fellow who lived at Ananda in the early years, and he was recently, he moved away from Ananda, but he's tried to stay in touch, and he has been having health challenges. So he wrote to Swamiji, maybe 3 years ago. And he sort of said, I have so many health problems, it's really a challenge for me. And Swamiji copied just 3 pages of his chart. And he said, yeah, this is just 3 pages of about, 100 or 200, I don't know how many it was. But the fellow got the message. You can't, if you get stuck on what things look like on the outside or feel like on the outside, you've not connected to what's actually happening in life. And I think this is one of the things that that I noticed about Kriyanandaji right after arriving at Ananda and throughout the years that inspired me. I never ever saw Swamiji down. I never saw him, having a mood. He always had some, even in the toughest time, he had some little humorous point of view. And the thing is, you could feel his spirit. And when I think of Swamiji, in fact, I'll share this. I had early this morning, right before I woke up, I had a dream. And it was a crazy dream with all kinds of funny stuff in it. But at one point, I entered into an auditorium, and there was a orchestra seats. And the orchestra was going to play. And I walked over and I saw that Swamiji was sitting in the violin section, and he had a violin, which he couldn't play, but he was just having fun. And then he just had this smile that is so much of my personal recollections of him. And it was like, oh, the joy and the bliss of God, and how it can be manifest in our lives, regardless of the ups and downs. And this is really the message of Christ. It's the message of Swami Kriyananda and Master, and really all of the saints, is that life is not about what it looks like on the outside. It's what we do with it on the inside. And that the way to experience God's love, God's joy, is to go within ourselves. Master said that silence is the altar of spirit. And Jesus said the Spirit of God is within you. And if thine eyes be single, thy body shall be filled with light. These are principles that are universal. They have nothing to do with Christianity or Hinduism or any other ism. It has all to do with the very way in which life is made. And when we connect inwardly to this reality, we will experience more and more of our true divine self. I'd like to read something. This is Swami Kriyananda's Easter message from just approximately a month before his passing. Dear ones, I wish I could bless each and every one of you with a happy Easter. Easter is a time symbolizing the eventual resurrection of our little individual selves into the one infinite self. I suggest at this time particularly that you study and meditate on the photograph of Master titled The Last Smile, and consider this amazing fact. He knew that in just a few moments he would be leaving his physical body forever. There is no thought of self in his eyes, of personal regret, of sorrow. Clearly visible in his eyes and in his facial expression is his unconditional love for all of mankind. His readiness to return again and again, as he put it, as long as one stray brother sits weeping by the wayside. Such love for egocentric humanity is not even conceivable. And this was the love Jesus, too, felt for all humanity. People weep for him in his suffering on the cross. His suffering was only for humanity that blindly rejects God's love and substitutes it for vengefulness and hatred. I've been going through a personal Armageddon. Nothing in this world attracts me anymore. Nothing at all holds any pleasant memories. None of those experiences, whether impersonal or outward in any way, holds the slightest attraction for me. Must I really live another 5 years, as has been predicted? I confess the very idea appalls me. I have done so much in my life to please God. The very hallmark of my nature has been enthusiasm, even though I've always been aware that I could never really accomplish anything significant in this world. Suddenly, now I feel bereft of that enthusiasm. Maybe it's because my heart feels very tired. I want only to merge in God. The only lingering thought is that I would like to bring all of you with me. No, I am not. I am far from tired of you. I want only your freedom in God. But no, your worldly attachments, identities, and desires, I have to confess, mean simply nothing to me, as my own mean nothing to me. No, this doesn't mean I love you less. I love you much more, for I love that part of you which is eternally real. But whether I succeed or fail in my projects is to me meaningless. All the things I once considered pleasurable are to me now displeasing. I want nothing that this world has to offer. People tell me I am famous. That phrase to me is also meaningless. People often marvel at all that I have been able to accomplish in this life. To me, it all seems only dust. If we must resurrect our souls, let it be from the delusion that anything in this cosmic dream holds some worthwhile reality for us. We are children of God. That is our sole reality. Love, Swami. Swamiji was even detached from his lack of desire to be here. He was willing to stay as long as God wanted him to serve. But he had to admit, if preference were to be looked at, he was ready to go. And within a month from that time, he did. We should be ready to go at any time. We should realize that living for some outward fulfillment is never going to give us the fulfillment that our hearts truly seek. The only fulfillment that ever provides lasting happiness is God. And if we can live our lives in service to God, in awareness that God is living through this life, and the recognition that God will guide us, God will be with us, God will lift us up in our time of need if we give ourselves to God. God helps those who helps themselves. But the way that we help ourselves is to give our attention to God. We don't worship God to get favor. We worship God because God is love, and we seek to live in the ocean of infinite love. God is joy. God is every fulfillment on a universal scale that can never be touched outwardly by any experience. So when we celebrate the life of the passing from this world of Jesus, and tomorrow we'll also have a service for Swamiji, but we are celebrating the freedom of the soul, no longer bound by the body, free to soar in spirit. This is where we're all going. This is what we really seek, even though we think we want a new coat, a new car, a new house. But we really want freedom in infinite spirit. And when we attune ourselves, as Kriyanandaji was saying, if you look into Yogananda's eyes, or any of the masters, and you go through them to their consciousness, you will experience in yourself, in your true self, ever more freely and truthfully their bliss, their knowledge of infinite wisdom, their infinite love. Every fulfillment is in that infinite experience. The way to have that experience is to perfect our discipleship. And Swamiji was such an incredible example of discipleship. Each of us has our own path to follow, and we have to take responsibility for walking that path in attunement with, in harmony with the Guru. But the Guru will not impose on us. We have to take that step and say, Lord, teach me, guide me. Guruji, I embrace you. I follow you. I live not only by your teachings, but in your vibration. in your presence. And through the practice of the techniques, deep meditation, consciousness of service, God is the doer, we begin to free ourselves from that small ego identification and begin to actually experience God living through this form ever more fully. In the beginning, it's an idea or two, but over time, you begin to realize that your every move, you're dancing with God's Spirit through your life. This is what we want to do. This is the way Christ lived, this is the way Master lived, and this is the way Swamiji lived. And this is the way we are being challenged to live in our own lives.